Fucking UVTV, motherfucker. I'm gonna keep spiritualizing dudes for my people. On God. Neon niggas fed me in. Today I'm gonna be talking about the purpose of venting and making a pipe and release system. Also, why women love to vent. So just in general, from me breaking this down of the same way how under y'all sinks and stuff like that, okay, y'all have a piping system to make it so y'all gonna have the water that go through the different filtering systems to make it so you gonna have that water so you can wash your dishes and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's the same allegory from a physical standpoint of what we be seeing in reality, but there's something like that based upon a spiritual state of being, state of mind, and stuff like that to make it a thing of we trying to recreate the same thing within that spiritual space, esoterically speaking, and then we actually make those things facilitated in reality. So the same way how you have different tubes and tissues and stuff like that, and different organs and intestines and stuff like that to make it so things can come and flow through, like when you eat food and swallow food and drink water and stuff like that, going through the esophagus and it going to the right areas like water, going through the different cores and piping system and stuff like that to make it so you can be a running machine, so you can keep your organs thriving and alive, so you can be a walking human being in existence based upon you being a walking organism and stuff like that. You're keeping that organized, but once you keep that organized, spiritually speaking, it's gonna create those different thoughts and feelings, mentalities to make it so it's going to give you that adrenaline to make it so you actually stay alive physically so you can keep on doing what you want to do in the external world, and it's going to keep you in that lively type of energy instead of you being in a stagnant type of energy because you actually give a fuck about your life and your piping system, aka you give a fuck about your organs and you being an organism within it. You know what I mean? The organs being within you being the organism, and then you being a walking embodiment representation of what that is. So you caring about the space that you in, and you caring about your light body, aka your mentality, the metaphysics, the thoughts and feelings. So you have sound mind, clear mind, and not be overly clouded. Not to say you ain't gonna go through different ups and downs, but you're gonna not catch those different mental illnesses or look at that as you getting caught up in a dichotomy, you getting caught up in an expectation, anticipation, validation issue, you getting caught up in a bias, right? So you end up having that mental instability or those insecurities and stuff like that that you don't know how to deal with. And once you learn how to clear that up and you have a better piping system, release system, instead of you holding on to certain things that are getting built up over time based upon you having those different experiences, and you're trying to hold on to the past and those heavy burdens and not trying to learn from your past so you can know how to take it from the things of the past and make it part of the present, aka what's going on now, is gonna make it so you can have a better future. But you can't have a future if you ain't trying to be what you see yourself being in the future. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always gonna lead to, oh, the present is a presence. So the present is a gift. So you have to understand what's presently going on, what's currently going on. And if you can't get with the wave, if you can't find the right current system and stuff like that flow to stay in that accordance and stuff like that, so you can stay more creative and productive, that's how your piping release system end up bursting. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's when your vents, that's when your pipes end up bursting and stuff like that, and it's all over the fucking place. Look at that as like a motherfucker who all over the place, and then their emotions and feelings all over the place, and they don't know what to do based upon them lacking that awareness and them lacking those different things and not learning how to uh, find different comfort zones outside of the things they already comfortable in for the most part. So look at that as like, you can just look at that as like expecting the unexpected type of energy, or you building up that back pocket energy of, oh, even if you don't have those different things, if you don't have those different, a good example is like monetary gains, like me being in a house, right? Even if I don't live in this house, I have another house. Look at that as, even if I'm not able to get that creative attribute out, if I can't show my talent, gifts, and abilities, aka look at that as like writer's block and stuff like that, it's not even me going through a blockage and stuff like that. I probably just need to take a little break for a little bit and then experience more so I can get back to it. So it's not even me blocking myself. That's like you putting yourself in a dichotomy, like I was saying before, in an expectation of you trying to create something in a very similar way when it's not as free flowing. You know what I'm saying? Because all these different things are free flowing. And once you learn how to be more free flowing, you get able to put yourself in a whole bunch of different spaces, not just be contained into one specific space, one specific thought and feeling, one specific bias and stuff like that, one specific dichotomy, and you know how to think just outside your ego. That's basically what y'all be calling ego death. Even though your ego never really died, it's just you know how to, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about what you're doing, it's about how you're doing it. You just changed You just change the how you do it, how you trying to emanate your light, how you trying to shine. You know what I'm saying? How you trying to transmute it, how you want to represent it, how you want it to be shown and stuff like that. So you can still stay in that mechanism, but you ain't gonna get too flunked out by the mechanics and stuff like that. You know what the fuck you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you understand you a player, a part of the program, and you ain't gonna blame people. You gonna blame the game. So you gonna charge it to the game if something don't go in your favor type shit. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like you getting lost into a dichotomy, self-victimizing type of mentality and stuff like that. Oh, because of this person, I wasn't able to. Oh, because of this, that, and the third. Because of, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, I'm a player, and I'm gonna discharge it to the game, and I'm gonna blame the game, not the player. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like that type of mentality for the most part. You start thinking more like that. So it don't matter what some man-made, I mean, it don't matter what some fucking human made up in their mind to make them feel like they getting over or getting an advantage over you and stuff like that. You know, spiritually speaking, spiritually, mentally, I'm creative enough, I'm imaginative enough to where I know how to understand my own power and abilities and my own magic to where I can get it again. So even if you did do some shit like that, you ain't stopping my motion. You ain't stopping my piping system. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's the simplest way to put it. You ain't stopping my rhythm. You ain't stopping my mechanism. You ain't stopping my process. You thought you was stopping my process. You thought you were going to get in because of this, that, and the third. No, that was just a minor thing. And then I was able to clear up all that gunk and stuff like that. And then we back, you know what I'm saying? Like we back in order. That's it. You back in order. You not out of pocket. You in the pocket. You know where the shit going. You know the flow. You know the direction and stuff like that. So just in general, right? This leads to things like, from me bringing up all those different disclaimers, this builds up into what I'm talking about when it comes to this video, the purpose of venting and making a pipe and release system, and also why women love to vent just in general, because women naturally like to hold on to things based upon them being emotional. But I'm gonna break all that down. So, right, it's like similar to how like when women get discharged and stuff like that, when it comes to like the shit in their vaginas, aka look at that as, oh, it's something that wasn't, it was like a buildup of a whole bunch of different things inside her vagina or whatever, and it's discharged, and you trying to release all that different gunk that you was holding on to inside your vagina and stuff like that. And then that could be good or bad, but it's just that discharge. It's just you had to let out all the shit that basically got manifested that was toxic, or I'll say, you know what I'm saying, like super corrupted or not as clairvoyant, like when you get wet and stuff like that, playing with your pussy and all that type stuff. But it's also built upon like a spiritual mental thing too. So when you discharging something, that's like you as acting out in a masculine type of energy, like how the military discharge their soldiers. Okay, they going out. So that's expression, expanding, externalizing. You know what I'm saying? Escaping. So to make it mad simple, right? Attention, attraction. So masculine, feminine. So from us understanding that from a metaphysical point of view, right? Your atoms is just your thoughts and ideas. And then your eves, like the evening time, the twilight zone, right, is just your emotions and feelings. So those are just your men and women. And they talk about these different allegories when it comes to the Bible. Not something that actually happened in history and reality. It's just an allegory of the type of mind template they was in to come up with those thoughts and feelings. Those you know what I'm saying? Those experiences of what they wanted to try to create in reality, just in general, but they had to make it in an allegorical, spiritual, consonant, dissonant type of way, so they can put you in that program when it comes to Christian indoctrination and stuff like that. But just in general, right? It's just thoughts and feelings. So in its natural mechanism, it's like a spring, summer, fall, winter. It's like a birth, life, death. So you have ideas, and after you plant that seed, from you sparking off the idea, is going to turn to a thought. So after you start to think about that idea, it's going to turn to a feeling, because after thinking about it long enough, it's going to turn to an accumulation of different thoughts, which is going to become a feeling. And then based upon that feeling, it's going to turn into a specific feeling, which is just an emotion. And an emotion, just an accumulation of a whole bunch of different feelings, until you have that specific emotion that's going to make you motivated, and it's going to make you feel moved, because emotions are just you essentially moving. At least the way how I look at it, based upon its natural process and mechanism. So ideas, thoughts, feelings, then emotions, perception, reception. So you're gonna externalize and act on something first, then you're gonna receive. You're gonna externalize and act on something first, and then you're gonna internalize and receive it after the fact. So it's always a perception, reception type of thing, expansion, contraction. You know what I'm saying? You expand your mind to condense into another one, and then you end up getting tired of the thing that you're comfortable in, or what you got condensed into based upon that container, because now you understand it, and now you're trying to expand out of that container. You're trying to expand out of what you already understand. You know what I'm saying? Of that comfort zone you already contained into spiritually and mentally. And then it comes off when it comes to comfort zones that we have in the physical and stuff like that. So that's like you always inside your house and stuff like that, but you never get out your comfort zone from being at your house and at your city and stuff like that. And you need to learn how to move outside your local area and stuff like that sometimes. So that's what leads to people taking vacations and stuff and traveling and stuff like that. But it's like making me, I'm just trying to make y'all understand it from a spiritual mental standpoint, which leads to you even getting motivated to actually travel physically. But a lot of y'all be getting into that long ass hippie type of energy. Y'all be thinking y'all be gaining more sentience, and y'all be gaining more experience by doing things physically instead of spiritually, mentally first, and then y'all end up doing things in reverse, aka doing something backwards, to where you think, oh, just because you have a lot of physical experiences and stuff like that, you think you're doing something. That's like a motherfucker who think, oh, I got $1 million and I got all this money and stuff like that, that means I'm doing something. But you could die right now and you can't take none of that with you. So it's going to show you the essence. It's going to show you the actual essential important qualities of what's actually important when it comes to life, and you thinking backwards as fuck. You just utilizing that as a monetary gain or like a tool, and that's the thing that makes money what it is and stuff like that, and that's fine. But once you start to turn that into an ego, that's when you end up going to hell and stuff. Or look at that as that's when you end up being a degenerate and relying on something monetary or like a low-hanging fruit instead of something that's going to be more eternal and everlasting, that can actually last for your kids. And that's each one teach one, knowledge and wisdom type of energies. That come first, and then everything that accumulates after the fact, like money and, you know what I'm saying, comfort zones and stuff like that. That's the thing that comes after the fact. Culture, all that become, you know what I'm saying? But we have to make that a thing that people get enticed into first, aka like what I just said, like a tradition or like a culture. So men will be like walking attention span. Look at that as walking awarenesses. Because like I was saying before, perception, reception, expansion, contraction. It's the masculine that's gonna come first. That's why y'all look. That's why y'all be looking at the men in y'all life as the builders and the crafters and the leaders and stuff like that. You gotta provide. You gotta lead. So if I'm gonna provide and be the most dominant I gotta lead. Okay, you have to be in the motherly, nurturing, caring type of energy, and I gotta be the father who's gonna provide it for you to make it so you can support whatever the fuck I'm building. And things of that nature. So it's like men being the walking logical intelligence, and then women being the walking emotional intelligence. But just in general, for men being walking frequencies or walking attention span, they're like walking awarenesses. So from them being walking awarenesses, that's like them being walking attention span. So it's based upon what they're paying attention to, and attention is based upon the first intent. So that's the thing that's going to come first, that first intent, which is whatever you're paying attention to, esoteric currency, or you could look at that as concentrating and focusing on something. You know what I'm saying? So based upon what you're paying attention to, it leads to you attracting, drawing attention, attracting what you're paying attention to. And that's when it leads to the woman. Woman, or feelings and emotions, would be like walking attractiveness or walking vibrations for the most part. So based upon them being the walking vibration, the walking vibe, and the thing that comes after the fact, you can't learn to attract until you learn what you're paying attention to, what's the meaning and reasoning before it leads to the emotional intelligence. You get what I'm saying? That's why I said before, oh, men would be like the walking logical intelligence, attention span, and then women would be the walking emotions and feelings and emotional intelligence, the walking attraction. So attraction is just you drawing attention. So you have to you know what I'm saying, make people absorbed into something to make them pay attention to it in the first place. But it gonna take that draw first, because if you just want an attention, you don't give a fuck about what type of attention it is. If you care about creating and building, or masculine type of energy, externalizing, you're just gonna say it. You know what I'm saying? You're just gonna express it. You really give a fuck how people take it or how they're receiving it. And then women, they care about how they're gonna take it. They care about how they gonna receive it, or just being in feminine energy just in general. You care about how it's being absorbed, how it's being contained. You're gonna care about it being maintained when it comes to that. Niggas in general, or acting out that hyper masculine type of energy, is more of, oh, I'm expressing myself this way, and I really don't give a fuck if y'all try to contain me or put me in a womb, or how y'all receiving what I'm saying. I'm just gonna say what I'm saying, and then you can just take it how you want. You know what I'm saying? It's like that type of way of thinking. So just in general, yeah, one's walking attention span awareness, and then one is walking attractiveness and stuff like that. But that's the thing that leads to what it leads to realities based upon different societal norms and relationships and economies and stuff like that, where women be lacking that logic, and then men be lacking that emotion intelligence, and they always want to learn the opposite because they already have something fulfilled in a higher percentage scale. So men are essentially learning the emotional intelligence, the emotions and feelings, how to deal with their feelings better. And then women are trying to learn more about gaining attention and being seen in a certain light. You know what I'm saying? And learning how to not be nurturing, caring for the most part. So it's not to say that a woman isn't already that. She knows how to be needed. She knows how to hold on to something. She knows how to be motherly and caring and stuff like that and nurturing, but she's trying to understand the other side because she lacks that. You know what I'm saying? So the thing that you lack, you actually want to try to fulfill that pocket because you try to understand, how come I don't got that? And you do got it because spirits are androgynous. It's just you have one on a higher percentage scale. So the thing that's low on the percentage scale that of what you feel like you aren't as balanced at, that's the thing you're trying to make more balanced. So it's always going to be like an opposite attract type of energy and stuff like that. Oh, niggas are always going to attract feminine energy, and then women is always going to attract masculine energy. And then you could carry it out of, oh, woman always going to attract a lot of men paying attention to her, and then men is always going to basically attract a lot of females paying attention to them for the most part, trying to contain them. And then women always going to attract a whole bunch of different men and stuff like that who's always paying attention to them for the most part. So it's always like a, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's really like a whole different video, even though all that adds on to what the fuck I'm talking about right now. So it's like the men got the gas, and then the woman got the liquid. The niggas got the first intent, so they're setting something forth. So them leading something, and then the woman, they like to set things back or retain or hold on to something for the most part. So it's like, that's why women in general, they're like walking insecurities, or like walking uncertainty, or like walking opposers, walking devils. And then you could look at it like the men being the walking God, Papa, all that type stuff. Like they have a whole bunch of different things based upon religion and stuff like that, where they high key saying the same thing, like that goddess type of energy and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's like, yeah, like based upon the masculine energy, oh, that's gonna come first. That's the thing you setting forth. And then the thing that comes after the fact is what's being supported based upon what you know what I'm saying, based upon what got started in the first place. So it's the setback. So it's like the end result. So that's the above the horizon, the men, and then that's the below the horizon, the woman, the feminine energy or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So one's gonna be above the horizon, seen, and then one's gonna be below the horizon, unseen. The same way how when the sun starts to rise from dawn, and then it turns to dusk, nighttime, daytime, nighttime. It's the same thing, but we see the same mechanism outside. It's just we make up a whole bunch of different allegories and terminologies and languages and points and references and symbolism and representation when it comes to different religion and science and stuff like that, observations, to try to make that make sense. But that's the most natural mechanism on a higher percentage scale. That's something that we see as a mechanism that came before humans did, because it's not no thing where we stop in the sun cycle from doing dawn till dusk for different geographical locations in the different time zones, and the moon doing the different moon phases and doing different solar eclipses and stuff like that. Like it's not no thing where you can just you stop in that. So on an overall thing, okay, that's a mechanism, that's a process, that's a happening. So that's something that's actually sentient that we can't stop. And even if a motherfucker, based upon science and technology of them trying to create something like that, y'all better not. But like, from y'all trying to create something like that, y'all ain't stopping that. You know what I'm saying? It's something that's everlasting. It's something that's ever flowing, and we can see that process in the physical world happening on a broader, higher percentage scale. So based upon the overall atmosphere, okay, we have walking atmospheres. I mean, we are walking atmospheres for the most part. Like, we are a walking representation of what that is. Okay, outside you see in nature the sun and the moon. Okay, we also have a sun and moon. Just in general, it's like an animism. So from us being sentient, right, we have those same type of energies. It's just we probably don't look at it the same way based upon science and the way we look at human anatomy and stuff like that. But from a spiritual standpoint, it is that though. You know what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't be alive right now having your awareness and you being at this level of consciousness of you being a human vessel if you wasn't already doing that, going through different bodies and reincarnation and rebirthing and finding different reasons to why you want to be alive and why you want to live and stuff like that. But that's a different thing. But just in general, it's like lightening your load. So like the masculine energy is like you lightening your load because it's like a thought and idea. So niggas don't like to care about shit for the most part. They don't like to make things heavy. They ain't trying to make it into an emotion and feeling. They're not trying to carry that. They ain't trying to carry that heavy burden for the most part. You know what I'm saying? So that's taking something that's light and being, you know what I'm saying? Something that's like flying in the air, flying in the atmosphere and stuff like that. A motherfucker who want to be fly. Okay, they're trying to be light, right? They're trying to take flight like a plane and stuff like that. The minute you try to land your plane or whatever, shout out Dolo. The minute you want to land your plane or whatever, right, it's going to turn to a thing to where, okay, you end up becoming more grounded or that humility type of energy for the most part. But y'all be getting a lot, man, I hate the word humble. But in general, it's just about doing things in moderation. Okay, you take something that was light and you making it heavy. You took something that was close and you went the distance with it. And yeah, so taking something that's seen and making it unseen, or trying to find the unseen qualities about the thing that you already made seen. You took something that you were certain about, and then now you're making it uncertain, or you're trying to find the uncertain qualities within the thing you already certain about. So it's like an accumulation. You were certain about it, and then you accumulate a whole bunch of different certainties or abilities or things that you know how to do until you find something that you're unaware about, until you find something that you're uncertain about, and then you end up trying to brighten that up or clear that up. But the whole thing is like a mechanism. It's like a light darkness type of thing. The same way with the dawn till dusk comparison, or daybreak zone compared to the twilight zone, day and nighttime and stuff like that, circadian rhythm. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like an overall process and mechanism. And then the minute you end up being out of pocket, that's when you be out of your goddamn mind, and then you be all over the place and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah. So from you carrying out that masculine type of energy, it's like you carrying out a responsibility. And if you lack that accountability, that's basically you acting like a female and stuff like that. You're lacking the accountability from the shit you just did based upon the first intent, the thing that you was aware about to make you have that action, and then you're trying to hold on to what already done happened, but you ain't trying to make certain shit be seen. You want that to be put on the back burner or whatever and stuff like that. So it's like that lacking accountability type of energy. So it's like fulfilling a pocket and pouring into it, and then once you fulfill it, from you trying to fulfill it or pour into a cup, it's going to lead to you containing it, but eventually draining it. So the same way how a female going to suck a nigga dick and stuff like that and drain that fluid out his, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same way of a nigga fulfilling the pocket. He's going to put his dick inside of a twat, and then it's going to fulfill the pocket, and then he going to bust on her shit because this, that, and the third. But it's like a natural type of thing, though, based upon sexual intercourse, because we have sex within the mind first. It's taking two or more different energies to create another energy. You know what I'm saying? So we have sex within the mind first, and we already doing that mind-wise, and then it's going to lead to us acting that out physically in our lower natures or lower chakras or whatever the fuck you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to human breeding. So based upon that, you do that when it comes to your thoughts. You're taking your thoughts and feelings, you're having sexual intercourse within them, aka look at that as you're trying to actualize your ideas and making them big, or trying to accomplish like a dream or whatever and stuff like that. You're taking things of your imagination and you're trying to make it reality. So it's like manifesting, materializing, festering men and women, and you end up materializing it based upon whatever type of nation that you have for yourself. And a nation is made up of a whole bunch of different cities and states as in states of beings. So what state of being you was in to create that nation based upon the men and women that was living within it, the thoughts and feelings. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, It's really that simple. So it leads to energies of releasing pressure instead of you holding on and retaining shit for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not trying to say, like, I'm basically explaining like the masculine and feminine energies, like giving, taking, providing, protecting, being open, closed minded. It's just in general, right? When it comes to venting, it's gonna lead to a release of pressure based upon um the things you was retaining or holding on to. So that's when it leads to women loving to vent, because like I was saying before, they're trying to add more awareness or attention span or add more logic, aka look at that as meaning and reasoning behind the things they're retaining or holding on to. And once you hold on to something for so long and stuff like that, you're going to end up blowing up because you can't contain all that. You know what I'm saying? Eventually it's going to get to a point to where you're going to go through different blow ups, aka like a crash out, or you being overwhelmed, you having anxiety and stuff like that because you're holding on to too many different things, and you need to add more clairvoyance. You need to see things more clearly because you're looking at things from the rose-colored glasses, or you're looking at things from clouded judgment, and you can't fucking see from the fact everything's clouded in your sky and stuff like that. All you got is a whole bunch of dark thunderclouds and stuff like that, and you can't see clearly of the point that I'm trying to make. And then everything going to end up flying over your head and stuff like that because your whole shit is all clouded up and stuff like that. And you always having esoteric rainy days internally speaking, and then you're gonna see that externally speaking. So look at that as you being fucking depressed all the time and stuff like that, and you never learn how to be more uplifting or being more happy because you're holding on to too many different things. So you know what I'm saying? Like it's the same process. So that's the real out of sight, out of mind way of looking at it. Not some, oh, in the physical, if I don't see it, that means I ain't thinking about it. No, the real out of sight, out of mind. You understand the space you was in the first place to make that to be to make that to be what it is in the first place. So you know how to take things that was on your mind, the things you was paying attention to, and you stop caring about it. You stop paying attention to it, and then it's out of your mind. You're not in that mind state no more. You get it? Like I was saying before with the city and states and the nations and stuff like that. You're not in that mind state no more, and you put yourself in a different space, aka you put yourself in a different mind state. So that's the actual insight. That's the actual intuition, out of sight, out of mind. You put your insight in a different mind state. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like you put your intuition in a different processing mechanism and stuff like that. You put it in a different thought and feeling. So, just in general, yeah, that's like insight and keeping things in mind. That's the only way you can retain it, but the only way for it to be out of sight, out of mind, it leads to you putting yourself out of that space, and it's not gonna be on your mind because you put yourself out of that state. You know what I'm saying? You put yourself out of that mind state. So you stop paying attention to it for a while, and then you able to come back to it with new fresh energy because you're not contained in it no more. So that's what it means to actually be free spirited, free spirited for real, and that spirituality, the actuality of all the different spaces, all the different awarenesses, and you're able to be in your individual space, aka your soul, your outlooks, your subjective point of view, your worldviews and perspective, right? And you're able to put yourself in other perspectives, other spaces, other worldviews. You know what I'm saying? But you still able to retain your personal world because you always gonna have an ego and you always gonna have your personal outlook about something and stuff like that. But you still able to keep certain things open to where you can understand other people's worldviews and stuff like that. But you're closed off enough to where niggas understand you still got your own mind and you still got your own way of how to go about stuff. That's why I got my own mind and you got your own mind, and I'm an individual and you an individual, but it's not a thing where we both the same exact individuals. We can have the same compassion, we can still have the same outlooks, like similar. You know what I'm saying? We both in the same sentiment. That's like a motherfucker who black and I'm black and stuff like that. Okay, we both the same race, but we probably don't look at things the same, even though we the same race. Cause you could have probably came from a different background and stuff like that, nigga. You could be a suburban motherfucker and I'm from the hood or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. Yeah, we both black, so we probably gonna have similar experiences or similar outlooks and stuff like that, and fight for similar things. But the way of how we go about it is based upon, you know what I'm saying, the different observations, the different experiences. Me as an individual compared to you as an individual. The things I went through compared to the things that you went through and all that type stuff is it's a nuance. But you get the overall thing that I'm trying to say. Oh, we both black. So if a motherfucker who like a cop start doing some bullshit and stuff like that. We probably going, you know what I'm saying? We gonna change it up in different ways and stuff like that. Oh, from the fact we black. Oh yeah, we both grew up watching ATL. We both grew up watching Hustle and Flow and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? We both know Juicy J. We know 3 6 Mafia samples, all type of shit. You get what I'm saying? Like, so that's why it's important to have a good vent piping release system just in general. And also on top of that, why women like to vent, right? Because they're trying to learn how to do that. They're trying to learn how to be out of pocket, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Because they're always in a womb. That's why they beget children and stuff like that. They give birth to children and be pregnant and stuff like that, because they know how to hold on or retain something long enough to where that idea can actually be actualized for the most part. So that's like the men planting the seed, and then the women know how to be motherly or nurture and care for the seed to where it actually ends up developing and growing over time to where that seed end up becoming a fruit or a plant and a tree. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same thing. So based upon those thoughts and ideas, the masculine, feminine, and stuff like that, we sit in reality when it comes to men and women, and then women lack that. They lack the logic, they lack the meaning and reasoning behind why they feel that way. So even when you try to control the situation as a man, and you try to add logic to it, in their mind, unless they already had a whole bunch of men around them who was masculine, or they already on a higher percentage scale know how to do that for themselves, to where they can be open to what you're saying, a lot of the time it'd be hard for them to actually see what you mean, because it's like I was saying before, they're like walking vibrations, they're like walking emotions and feelings. They're way more in the latter half, you know what I'm saying, the tail end of something. So when you start to explain the first seeds, the first intent, the starting points and stuff like that, they probably get what you're saying, but they don't know how to see it the way you see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like they know how to receive it, but they don't know how to act on it. They don't know how to perceive it. You get what I'm saying? Like, they know how to take it in, and they know, like, you know what I'm saying? It's not that they ain't keeping it in mind, but they don't know how to actually practice that and act on that and express it in the right sentiment and stuff like that until they go through enough experiences to where they like, oh, okay, it's like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where that frustration be coming from. So a lot of time women just be needing to vent. Like, they be needing somebody who can help them release all that pent up type of energy and stuff like that, so they can create a new awareness or create a new expression or create a new ego. Because the minute, see this is where that your whole going mentality be coming from and stuff like that. They trying to be on go. They ain't trying to be stuck and stagnant and contained or in a womb. So that's why they going like that, because it's like a power up. You know what I'm saying? It's like a replenishing type of energy. Like, oh my God, this, that, and the third. Like, oh, I got this validation. Oh, I'm getting this attention. Oh, I'm getting all this masculine energy and stuff like that. Oh, you gonna serve the queen and stuff like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where they be coming from, because they already lack that on a higher percentage scale, and they want to understand the other half. So from them getting more awareness on that part, that's where that be coming from, to where they try to be in that dom mommy type of energy, or they end up acting like a hoe or something. I'm not even trying to say like being a hoe is bad, but being a hoe is you being a masculine energy. You was able to take your attractiveness and you was able to gain attention with it. You get what I'm saying? Like, you see how you was able to take what you already contained into a womb, you having a pussy and stuff like that, the things you already receive, and you was able to get attention off of it, or you was able to add a meaning and reasoning to why you do that. You was able to be seen in that light. You know what I'm saying? Like, so is you taking something that was unseen and making it seen, something that was below the horizon, and making it above the horizon. You was on the latter half, the tail end of something, and you was able to put yourself first so you can be in the forefront. You was able to take your setbacks and make those setbacks your strength. Or you was able to set that forward to make it so, oh, okay, I'm seeing it this way, and I know how to utilize my energy for the most part. I know how to make myself look as attractive and capitalize and get attention off of it at the same time. And then when it comes to men, they be doing the opposite. They be trying to take what they get attention with already, that they already be aware about, being a builder, being a creator or whatever, and they want, they trying to draw attraction when it comes to that. They want people to care about what the fuck they got going on, the motherly type of energy. They want people to care. They're trying to learn how to care, and they want people to care about what they're doing for the most part. Because if it's a man already who's in a hyper masculine type of mentality and stuff like that, they don't care about nothing. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when it comes to men being hoes, it's looked at as one way, a double standard. And then when women be hoes, it's looked at a whole different way. Even though it's really a woman learning how to be more strong, and then a man learning how to be more weak, but not weak the way how y'all look at like a weakness. Not like weak, like how y'all look at a weakness and stuff like that. You, as a man, you already know how to be strong spiritually and mentally and stuff like that. You already know how to be built. You already know how to take on a whole bunch of different things, but you're still gonna create and give and provide regardless. You're learning how to be a part of something. You learning how to contain that energy. You're learning how to, okay, step up, you know what I'm saying? It's not about you being on this tough guy at all the time and stuff like that. Cause it's you basically not learning how to vibe. You don't know how to, you know what I'm saying? It's like when you go outside and stuff like that, and you trying to have fun. You don't know how to have fun because you feel like, oh, I gotta be the man, or I gotta be all rigid and stuff like that. I gotta be all nonchalant and stuff like that. No, you still have emotions and feelings. It's just about the way men deal with emotions and feelings. They just deal with it in a way, filtering it through intellectualizing it, filtering it through logic, filtering it through thoughts. But it take an accumulation of thoughts to create feelings and emotions. So that's the thing you're trying to figure out for the most part. After having a whole bunch of different ideas and thoughts, from you having a whole bunch of thoughts and ideas, how can I accumulate that into an emotion and feeling? And then women, because they're already the tail end of that accumulation, they're learning how to let go of those emotions and feelings so I can find a better thought and idea and try to blow that up and plant more seeds. And that's leading you on the path of acting out more masculine type of energy so you can get what you want. And then it's gonna lead to men doing the other end for the emotions and feelings. You end up getting what you need, but life ain't about wins and losses, wants and needs. You're only gonna get what you deserve once you learn the androgynous energy of understanding both. So it's not the universe working for you or against you, it's working through you. So sometimes you got to be masculine, sometimes you got to be feminine. Sometimes you're gonna be masculine, sometimes you're gonna be feminine. But it's you understand the balance between the situations of when you need to play out certain energies. But at the end of the day, you a man with a dick, and you gonna direct shit and get erect and stuff like that. And then at the end of the day, you a woman and you have a vagina, you have a womb, you have a pussy, and then people are gonna be trying to contain. I mean, you're gonna try to contain what people are into, so it can be something that people can be a part of, because that's what y'all like in general when it comes to that motherly type of energy. Oh, okay, I need something to be a part of, and then that's it. I need something to take care of in general.